Welcome to the Lions Den with Jay DeHaan. He does a Goliath big and Genghis Khan. He worked his whole life to get the things he want. He did it despite the things that may have come. Through the darkest night, short after came the sun.
Welcome, Lions, to another week of the Lions Den. Today I got a different background because, yes, I am smoking my cigar and chilling out here just on the balcony, looking over the beautiful Tampa Bay scene. And it's been an incredible journey. When I say incredible journey, I mean what we've been able to create here. Because, guys, why we show up here every single week is 3 words. 3 words that we live by, 3 words that why we show up here for an hour and devote 60 minutes minimum, because some of them go over, to just be here as brothers. Brotherhood is that first pillar. Guys, we are lacking brotherhood more than any other time in history right now. So brotherhood is that bond between men to step in with one another, to only look down at a man when you're picking him back up. So for those on the call live right now, brotherhood, that's why you're here. You're showing up and showing full through what brotherhood means. The next one is the blessings. Blessings, guys. And I'll tell you this now from blessings, I want to really clarify, because I have a lot of people on the calls that are God-oriented. I have a lot of people that are spiritual-oriented. I got people on the calls that just believe in themselves. But regardless, the blessing comes for being grateful for the situation that you're at, regardless of the higher power that you believe in. Some of us believe in God, and we do, and we pray every single day. Some of us really just want to enhance the spiritual aspect of it. But whatever you're here for, blessings truly come from the gratitude within and the breakthroughs. Maybe something I say today, gents, and maybe something another Lion says. But today is also going to be a very interesting thing, an interesting ideology that has been created and tested and trialed from human psychology to really give you guys some backbone. So those breakthroughs are what you want them to be. It's how you want to embrace them. Just to think about this before we get started today, think this way. Have you ever felt not accomplished? Like, talk to me real. A lot of the entrepreneurs on the room are like, holy shit, that's the average day in my life. Thank you very much, Jay, for pointing that one out. But realistically speaking, those tasks that you want to accomplish and you're feeling like, shit, I could do so much more. I could do so much more. Why don't I feel fulfillment, right? But then there's also other places where, like, forget about the task, forget about the business. Let's go back to the personal scene for a second. Have you ever felt lonely? Have you felt lonely? Have you asked yourself, do I feel lonely? Or I'm sure you felt it in your own ways. And that could be from the wife. That could be from the family. Could be from the friends. Could be from the lack of. But loneliness is a fucking cruel, cruel mistress. And the last one is maybe you're just not in the mood. Maybe you're just not in the mood. Maybe you know exactly what you need to do. Maybe you actually know that, okay, here's my calendar. Here's what I got to get done. Here's people that I need to call. Here's what I got to get done. But just not in the fucking mood, man. Just not in the mood. Like, I'm a man. I'll do whatever the hell I want. Whether you felt any of those today, and especially even this one, actually, the one that just hit my head right now is maybe it's pain. We don't even talk about pain. And I'm not talking about physical pain if you get cut. I'm talking about real fucking pain. Death, divorce, divide. Different types of pain that men are not allowed to emotionalize or even think about. Today, we're going to break that down. Today, gentlemen, we're going to bring something very, very exclusive in, because we're going to be talking about 4 chemicals that are designed specifically to not just keeping you survival, because we always talk about survival as men, but these 4 chemicals are designed to help you balance that life of being an entrepreneur, a family man, trying to go out there and, find friends and having a group. No, we got a group right here. It's called the Lions Den. We're here for every gentleman, every freaking lion in here, every king that steps into this kingdom right here is coming in, because we got your back. You see, our brain is one of the most intelligent supercomputers known to man. Literally, to man. The only thing we've been able to create smarter than us is the computer that was still created from man. Even these AIs out there, actually, to be honest, these AIs are a little scary. these AIs are a little scary. These AIs are doing some things that, like, Gus and I were having a conversation yesterday. He was plugging some stuff into AI, and I said it. I was like, "Yo, what did she say back?" I called the AI a she. Like, I call my car a she, like Lena, that's my Lena, right? But I called the AI a she. And I was like, damn, even my world is like adapting to this in such a different level. But our brains are so powerful. Our brains are so smart, but there's specifically 4 chemicals. There's 4 chemicals that we create naturally or artificially. And what's so important about this is that if you understand the artificial side, I think every man on this call is going to understand the artificial side. Because the artificial side is not artificial intelligence. It's not computer thinking. It's artificial as in creating something that's not in your mind, creating a feeling in your heart that's not there. Whether it's using substances and things that we're going to talk about today, whether it's you being able to actually own who you are. But when you create it naturally, I'm going to give you guys techniques and tactics today that I want you to implement this week specifically to get ready for next week, because next week I have something else that's almost like a part 2 to this one. So if you enjoy this one, get ready for next week. The first one that we have to understand of these 4 chemicals is what I like to start with, the letter D. And letter D really represents the reward chemical. It's called the reward chemical, and it's called dopamine. Very simple. We've all heard it before. But it's the reward chemical. I don't want you to think about the word dopamine anymore. Everyone's talking about dopamine and all that stuff. No. I want you to call it the reward chemical. The reward chemical. How do I get a reward? How do I feel fulfillment? Remember I was asking you guys earlier, have you ever, so many tasks, so many things? Am I feeling fulfilled at the end of the night? I worked like 16 hours like a fucking dog today, but then I got home and I still, for some reason, didn't feel fulfilled. I still didn't feel like I accomplished all the tasks that I needed. I'm sure I could have done more. What is that reward chemical? Yes, it is dopamine. How do we get it now? Let's talk about the vices first. Us men are even worse. I'll tell you, well, way worse than women. Sometimes women can come in, especially with the drinking habits that I'm seeing with women nowadays. But I will tell you this now: drinking is our first component. We escape to drinking first and foremost because the feeling that we get to escape, to let go, to not think about the moment. Trust me, I'm guilty for it. I drink, I enjoy it. I go out, I have a couple, I do my thing, and as soon as I feel, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling good. We feeling good. Drugs is another one. For those of you that do drugs, never going to help you. Never ever going to help you, because it's always just going to be reliant. But I don't care if it's pharmaceuticals. I don't care if it's marijuana. I don't care if it's freaking the worst of the worst, cocaine and all the heroin, all the craziness out there. But drugs will be that same kind of concept to a medical, a pharmaceutical way that's really going to capture your brain and bring it in and give you the false hope of what you think is fulfillment, and then crush it at the end. And it's like, I need the next one to get it, the next fix. Gambling, of course, obvious. Making money that quick. I remember those times I used to sit there on my computer. I was day trading. I made $32,000 in 12 minutes. $32,000 US in 12 minutes. Imagine imagine the dopamine level on that one. Holy shit, is what I thought. I looked at the computer screen. I was like, damn, man, I did it. I'm gonna do this every single day. 12 minutes is all I need. I gotta live my lifestyle. Yeah, guess what? The next week I lost 40,000. Yeah, it wasn't a pretty fucking week, was it? Now, for a couple of days, I got happy. I got really excited. Dopamine hit me, and then I lost 40,000 right after. Put a $20,000 trade down, lost it. Thought I was gonna double up, so I put another $20,000 down, and then what? But lost that one. Sat in the corner of my office that day. I literally went and sat on the floor of my office, like, holy shit. That's what it feels like to lose $40,000. And actually, that was less time. It was about 7.5 minutes. So trust me, dopamine is a bitch. Dopamine is a bitch. But how can we convert this now into positive energy? How do we now look at dopamine on a way that we want to create dopamine without using substances, without using the wrongful energy of making money at a casino by flicking a switch and being like, damn, $3,000 just came to me? Completing a task. Start with that one focused thing. What's so hard for us as business entrepreneurs sometimes to do is actually set a task. And I'm not talking about a task list. It's not what I'm talking about. So let's get clear there. I'm not talking about a task list. A task list is hopeless. Hope is for the hopeless, is what I say. But a task list is hopeless. If you are looking at more than 3, if your brain can even handle it, more than 3 to 5 tasks in a day, I'm sorry to say, you are lost. you're never going to be able to accomplish it. You're going to automatically set yourself up for the end of the day being like, I didn't get enough done. So you have to set specific tasks during the day. Get yourself organized and calculated with just 1, 2, or 3 that you need to accomplish in that day. And that's it. That's it. And stay consistent. You know, Will Smith said this, but I'm sure a lot of other people have said this in the past, but it's not about building the Great Wall of China in 24 hours. It's about placing one brick every single day. And then over time, seeing how big that wall becomes. So what we need to do is we need to focus on that. Another one is self-care activities. I like this one because I'm a very self-care guy. Actually, I'm going to point out one self-care situation that happened. One of my young team members here, his name is JC. You know him on the call. He's the one that calls you all the time. And my guy that I just hired here recently. And I sent him, because of all the hard work that he's been doing, I sent him. And maybe I'm going to get him to share a little bit about that experience. So I'm going to hold that one to the end, actually. But I got him to experience some self-care activity for him to actually be able to embrace that feeling of accomplishment. It doesn't have to come from a boss. It doesn't need to come from a brother. But what it really needs to come down to is you being able to take that initiative to go out there and self-care. Like I do pedicures. I go out there and I get massages. I do facials. I do stuff that I want to do because I'm taking care of this exterior. I'm taking care of my body. That's going to help me succeed. You know, when I get into things like little wins are the amazing ones. Little wins aren't task completed, but little wins are just something in the morning. I've said it many times in the Lions Den call. Brush your teeth with your other hand. You know, let me take my glasses off now because we're getting some lights on in here. Brush your teeth with the other hand. Wake up in the morning, make your bed. Give yourself a Blinkist. I do Blinkist. I'm not a reader, guys. I don't read books. I'm this successful. I don't read books. But what I do is I just downloaded Blinkist. In 15 to 30 minutes, I can read a book a day. Give yourself a challenge. While you're laying there in your bed, just woke up, alarm clock went off, give yourself 30 minutes, play the book, just listen. The other day, I listened to a crazy book, 3-minute pitch. It's talking about exactly why in 3 minutes, if you cannot get your A, B, and C, especially in today's world with attention spans, you are lost. And I was like, that's funny because the speak off just happened a couple of weeks ago. So it's like, it just kind of correlated, you know? But these are things that we can really do. And the most important one for dopamine, I would say, is getting enough sleep. I did this for many years, gentlemen. I would do I was the 4 a.m. guy all the way to the 9 p.m., 10 p.m. And then I would be drinking kind of towards the evenings. Then I would get like 3-4 hours of sleep. And I would say, you know what, on Sunday, I'll just gather it all back. Sunday, I'll just sleep all day and I'll recover it all back from the week. Yeah, it didn't work. Didn't work. Point blank did not work. The next step was like, okay, so like, how do I now give myself the chance to sleep? Let me sleep earlier. That'll help it, right? Because I still want to wake up early. So the only way to wake up early now, it's to sleep earlier. But then I would sit in my bed for 2 hours and be like, shit, I'm thinking about the most dumbest shit in the world right now. I'm thinking about what I'm going to wear tomorrow. I'm thinking about, did I actually complete that task? Oh, did I respond to that one person? I'm thinking about shit that doesn't, now I'm keeping myself awake. So sleep is the most important thing, and dialing into even a YouTube video or something that can help you with just getting your brain frequencies awake and sleeping is one of the most powerful things you can do as men. So dopamine, gentlemen, is number 1 on the list today. Dopamine is what I want you guys to think about in this next week now. That's going to allow you to be like, where am I chasing the fake ones versus the real ones? Where am I on the fake ones where I go and say, hey, I'm going to go hold slot at the machine. I'm going to go have that next drink. Or where's the ones that say, you know what, I'm going to challenge myself today. I'm going to do a cold shower just for 15 seconds. Just going to start it cold. I'm going to jump in for 15 seconds, 10, 9, 8, and I count it on your fingers, do whatever you got to do. And then after that point, bam, before you have even showered, you've accomplished that little win. Let that fuel you throughout the day, gentlemen. The next one is interesting. The next one is the love hormone. The love hormone. The gents in the room, the love hormone is a good one, isn't it? Or is it? That's the question. You see, when we start to understand the love hormone, I want you guys to understand oxytocin. Oxytocin is the love hormone. But how do we artificially get it? Movies. And for the gents in the room, hopefully there's no little ones. I did see you, man, beer with a little one, but it's porn. That's a big one, isn't it? Especially for us gents. We create the concept of love, especially as men, more than anyone else. We create this artificial concept of what we think love is, what sex is, what that pleasure concept is. And that's really, really, really wrong. The other thing we do is we get into toxic relationships. We find women that are toxic. We find women that are either gold diggers, sure. We get women that are narcissists, sure. Look, they can call it on us, but we're going to bring that back as well, too, because we're all just fucking human. It don't matter if you're a fucking man or a woman. The point is that you're having an emotion, you feel a certain way. So when you're in toxic relationships and you're attracting that, you're trying to find this artificial oxytocin, that it's going to fill some void for me, but it's not like that. You see, oxytocin comes down to just as simple as picking up the phone and calling a loved one. Calling a loved one. Maybe you don't have a loved one. Maybe you don't have a mom. Maybe you don't have a dad. Maybe you don't have, family members that want to take that call. Well, guess what? There's one call you can always make every single week at 6 p.m. Thursday. There's always one call you can make to any one of these brothers on this call that will answer, that will take that call and be a brother. So call somebody, call a loved one and just ask yourself, hey man, I just wasn't feeling love today, man. I just wanted to just share some love to you first. Share love before you actually receive love. The act of kindness. It's the next one. For me at airports, I go to airports, I put 10 smiles on 10 faces. It's just like a thing that I live by. It's something that I just instinctively do. Anytime I go to an airport and I travel a lot, I just, go in and 10 smiles on 10 faces. Act of service though. What am I doing that for? Am I doing that for good karma? Am I doing that because, I just created? No, I'm doing this because I know the energy that I create. I'm whole and complete with the energy that I bring. So I know that if I walk into something like an airport where I have people that are coming from different directions that are usually pretty stressed out, to be honest. Most people that, my flight's going late. I got to get there. I got to get to my next destination. I'll be just the guy just sitting there and just being like, hey, let's have a conversation. Hey, you got kids? You got kids at home, man? I got a crazy ass teenager at home, man. He's wild. And we get into a conversation and that allows us to open up now a proper connection. When we get more into it, guys, this one I actually like. For those of you that have kids, you'll really understand this. For those of you that have pets, you'll surely understand this. Now being a fur daddy myself. But go and hug your pet. Go and hug your child. Just be in the vicinity of a child, of a baby. It's almost like there's something that God has created or inside of our minds, our energy has portrayed that baby is just going to be fulfillment. Like, look at Evan right now. Look at Evan right now. That's a different level. That's a different level of naturally creating oxytocin for yourself. So really be able to understand that, especially those dads out there. The next one, guys, when we get to the mood stabilizer is the one that's, this one's hard. This one's hard. Because the mood stabilizer is serotonin. The mood stabilizer it's a different one because it's not now being organized. It's not even being able to feel loved and fulfilled. Now, are you in the mood to do it? Are you? You want that body? Sure. You got to go to the gym and go to the diet. Do the diet. It's simple. But are you in the mood to go to the gym? When you start thinking about things like, I like to use this example because it's not only just the gym factor, it's about the accomplishment factor. Especially the business owners in the room. You're in a position where you're trying to seek that mood stability so that you can get balance. So you can say, look, I want to devote 16 hours a day to my business, but that's not technically feasible. 8 hours are working, right? 8 hours are working, 8 hours are sleeping, and the 8 hours you don't know about. So if we just make the 8 hours we don't know about only work and we do 16 hours of work and barely 8 hours of sleep, it's not healthy. It's not healthy at all. So when we understand the mood stabilizer, there's different ways that we now use vices to suppress that. And most likely, it's going to be you being lazy. You telling yourself in the morning, I don't feel like I should do it. I'm not ready. I'm not educated enough. Am I really at that point? No. But is it the fear of failure? Is it the fear of success? All these contemplating thoughts inside your head, here's the way to actually get out of it. Just go outside in the morning. Get some sun on your face. Simple. especially my guys out in Calgary. I see a couple of you guys from Calgary. You know, Calgary is one of the sunniest cities, by the way, in all of North America. In 2016, Calgary had 333 days average sunlight. And behind us was Phoenix, Arizona, with 328. As a statistical fact, even though minus 40 with snow up to our knees up in Calgary, we are one of the sunniest cities. Go out and actually absorb sunlight. When I was being interviewed by Gary Cardone a couple of weeks ago, it was interesting because I walked up to his mansion. It was out in St. Pete. You know, me and Gus went, we rolled up in the RA. We go outside, we shake his hand. He comes out barefoot. And yesterday I had a podcast with Doc Talk, and it was incredible. It was on Tuesday night, and it was incredible because he even said the same thing. He's like, you know, the craziest feeling. Both of them said the same thing. Both hosts within the last couple of weeks. Like, you know what the craziest feeling is? Going out in the morning, taking off your shoes, going barefoot into the grass, planting your seeds, like planting your feet into the ground, and just enjoying the sun rays, just doing some breath work and just embracing. Guys, this is the quickest, most efficient way that you can get serotonin inside your body first thing in the morning before you even start your day. Because most of these things that I'm telling you today, I want you guys to be able to incorporate in the morning. Sets you up for success, sets you up for your day. Fulfill the cravings that we may have throughout the day in the morning. So the rest of the day is just really kind of involved into just kind of structuring out, you know, the logistic side of things. The next one was meditating, because meditating is also very important. And it can be meditating, it could be praying, it could be, whatever you want to label it, don't matter. What matters is you just taking some time for yourself. Taking some time to just sit there and breathe, taking some time to actually just listen to your nothing, not your thoughts, because that's fucking crazy, not your emotions, because you don't even know how to express them. Just sitting there and just listening to nothing, giving yourself some time just to be you. One of the hardest things you guys can do, I will tell you now, because I know how busy you guys are. I know how crazy you guys are. I know the lions that roar in this room. But taking that simple time to just be yourself, away from distractions, away from family, away from the business, away from everything. That's the most magical piece that you will get. And figure out your own time scale, you know? It doesn't need to be a day. You know, back in the day, what I would used to do is I would take a weekend off. And it would, even if it was around my own city, I would just take a weekend off. I would drive out to just Banff, where it's like the mountains, and I would just stay there a weekend and I would lock myself in a room. You see, I've been in a jail cell and I was forced to think. But what I realize is now I'm not actually forced to think. I can actually choose to think. But I want to choose to think. It's hard to choose to think when you have everything that's thrown in front of you. So what I did is I would just separate myself from the whole world. I'd go lock myself into a room and I would just write down things and I would just understand and I would journal and I would meditate and I would just be myself and I would say, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? How am I doing it? And it was just my own self-reflection. It was my own self-recollection, but that really got me to start opening up different doors. And it wasn't different doors to get more business and make more money. It was different doors to open up my own thoughts, to allow myself to actually breathe and be able to speak to myself before I ever spoke to anybody else. Remember, guys, I was fearful of public speaking. I was so fearful of public speaking. Most of you in this room would be like, that's crazy. Because I can run a full hour call like this without even thinking twice. I create this kind of stuff an hour before. I tell you guys every time I create the content that I'm going to deliver here because I want it to be authentic. I come in here real. I just think about the ideas and I come in and I be with you guys. So taking that time to really be within yourself and writing it down and speaking about it is the most powerful ways that you can get serotonin inside of your body. And lastly, last but not least, this one's my favorite actually. We call it the painkiller. It's not the endorphin. See, most people will call it the endorphins. I call it the painkiller. Why is it the painkiller, you may ask? You see, painkiller is what my good friend Felipe on the call would really understand, is because the two main things that we use as vices, especially as men, is adrenaline and sex. We use adrenaline and sex to build artificial endorphins. But both of those two, as the negative weaknesses, that's why I left this one to the end right here. It spells out dose, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, dose. The endorphins, though, are last because when you look at those two vices, when you look at sex and you look at adrenaline, you start to understand that those done the right way could be very beneficial, but done the wrong way, and they could end your life. That's how scary that one is. It's even more scary than dopamine, like the drugs and alcohol. Because you see, endorphin can get you to a level of hyperactivity and doing something that you may have not wanted to ever do. Be in a club, fight happens, endorphins run so high, energy is so fucking pumped. I'm just gonna grab the knife, I'm gonna stab him, I'm gonna punch him, I'm gonna do something. Oh shit, now I'm in jail for 3 years. Endorphins, very dangerous. Sex. I become a sex addict. I become a man slut, is what they say. I'm here to slay anything that moves. Is she hot? Is she at least 5 foot? Is she blonde, brunette? Don't matter. Let's go. Oh shit. You might just now lose most of your power as a man because you're now letting pussy dictate what you do next. Very crucial vice moments, but done the right way, absolutely. Healthy sex is amazing. You're in a good relationship, healthy relationship. Oh man, you go to town, man. You enjoy that. You enjoy the benefits. You enjoy the morning, afternoon, whatever you can get. You know, you also, adrenaline-wise, jump out of a plane. I'm not saying jump out of a plane as many times as Felipe does, because that's a little crazy, but once in a while, you got to feel it. You got to feel the energy. You got to feel that fucking exuberant fucking energy. That exuberant, oh, like I remember myself flying out of the sky, and I was like, woo! I was flying. It was actually scary as fuck, to be honest. And I had agreed one day before. I didn't even know I was gonna jump out of a plane. You crazy white boys on the call, man. I don't know how y'all convinced my brown ass to jump out of a plane, but I did. It's all good. But while I was flying through the sky, I was like, boom. There's still an adrenaline. It was still something pumping. But outside of that, let's take exercising. Let's talk about some healthy ones. Let's talk about exercising. Let's talk about massages. When was the last time y'all got a massage? Gentlemen, when was the last time that you allowed even pedicure? I'm gonna throw massage and pedicure, because like pedicure is like massage. Every man kind of thinks like, yeah, the massage is fine. I like a massage. I don't mind somebody rubbing down my back and just giving me the. But then when I mention pedicure, everyone's like, yo, that's gay shit, man. I'm like, so a Asian woman, here's where I get racial. An Asian woman rubbing down your legs versus your back is like different. I actually prefer the feet, to be honest, because they may cut my nails a little bit and do that thing, but she rubbing, she giving me like a nice little thing. She's slapping my legs. She putting like hot stones on me. And I'm like, yo, shit, man, my legs hurt. I walk around a lot. I'm a man. So it kind of feels great. But when was the last time that you did a massage? And then on top of that, when was the last time you just had a good meal? That's my final point, gentlemen. A good meal. Not just a meal, not just try to get the nutrients, not try to just, don't focus on the nutrients, don't focus on the garbage. That's not what I'm saying. But just a good meal where you felt satisfied. Where you just felt satisfied. Had that nice piece of steak, some veggies. You were like, ooh, a good meal. That's going to bring endorphins to you guys. And that's a bit of my conclusion today is coming down to this. Whether you're trying to connect with a woman or women, whether it's your daughter, whether it's your wife, whether it's a woman that you eventually want to make your wife, whether it's the business connections that you want to continuously develop, whether it's getting on stages like this and being able to use your voice to go out there and uncage your roar. Ultimately, what it comes down to, gentlemen, is being able to be whole and complete yourself. So every single week that we show up here and we give some nuggets, we give some golden words, it's all for you guys to hone in on the aspect of you becoming the best version of yourself. Because if you can become the best version of yourself, that is the step one before you can go out there and help everybody else. Because especially us men, we want to help and we want to provide and we want to protect and we want to do all this stuff, but we never, ever really take the time to think back and say, am I really taking care of myself? Am I really owning in on who I am as a person? Because the one thing that I teach here in the Uncage Your Roar and the Lion's Den, so to speak, is mastering the way you can think, speak, and connect. Because if you can master this up here to think, the 450 words per minute that you can think, and then you can get better at the 250 words at maximum capacity that you can project when you actually speak, together those two will allow you to connect in the most meaningful ways, whether it's a brother on the call like this or that next client that could actually change the trajectory of your life.